Hey, what's up, Joe 200? How are you guys? Okay, so as promised, I was going to alert you to your upcoming writing assignment. It's really straightforward. It's actually kind of fun because you're going to gather your own data, and you just follow the directions, and you'll get full credit on this. So just make sure you follow the directions, and the directions are easy, 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 easy. All right, so this is again what your home page looks like. So again, anybody that's new to class, scroll back, 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 and this is all of our communications listed as announcements. So do check those out, okay? So I'm getting right into the assignment, okay? And you can see right here, these are things that are due, okay? So you got to get your discussions and quizzes in this week, okay? And they will be not accepted, okay, if they come in, for example, at say Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the morning of next week. Okay, so you have a week now forward. Okay, this is for everybody to catch up to just out of the class. This is what we're talking about right here. What do we see here? We see a due date. Okay, September 25th. Okay, what is today? I look at my phone. Today is September 17th. All right, so you have a little over a week. Okay, all right, so it's time to get going on this. So how do we find out what's going on? Okay, there's a couple different ways. You can either go into the activities, okay, and look at the assignment. Bum, okay, and here it is. Critical thinking assignment 1. Boom, and here it is, okay? And so this is the complete description of the assignment, okay? And then as well, as we come down here, there's everything you need to do. Hey, this is where you're going to upload it, okay? And as you add the file right here, so this is going to be uploaded and turn it in. And so do your own work, okay? We are experts at this. We don't ask very much of you. All you have to do is your own work. Now, we change what we want in the graphs we see right here. So oftentimes people will submit, they'll cheat, they'll plagiarize, and they'll submit people's work from prior semesters, and it's like a an alarm going off because the graphs are not the right kind of graphs. Okay, so just do the right thing, right? All right. So how do we do the right thing? So you just follow the assignments, okay? Alrighty, and it says right here, write a 2-page paper, okay? Writing, okay, 2 pages. In addition, you're going to be adding figures, okay? So we want the written component to be 2 pages, and then we went to figures, okay? How are we going to gather our figures? Well, you're going to gather the figures on the data that we instruct you to gather from right here, all right? So we're going to look at, as we see right here, the USA, and you're going to select 2 different countries. One country must be developing. We are a fully developed country here, obviously, the United Kingdom, Canada, developed, okay? Afghanistan, developing, okay? But there are lots of countries to choose from. We provide you a list right here, okay, that was put out by the United Nations in 2020. And these guys are categorized, okay, as developing economies. Remember, we talked all about those early reports, okay, by the group of fully 37 developed countries, okay, with developed economies, right? And so these guys are not. Now, if you have a country that you don't see on here that you can prove to us that is developing, you put it down, but you send us a reference that indicates so. All right? All right. So I could choose US, I could choose Canada, and then I could choose, whatever country I want, and I'll look right here. Like I said, I could do Afghanistan. So awesome. All right. So that's part 1. All right. Follow the directions. All right. Okay, we want you to pick at least one developing country. All right, cool. These are the 2 parts of the assignment. We're going to look at, okay, life expectancy in the 3 countries that you choose. And then the second part of the assignment is we're going to look at what the dynamics of the population are by comparing, okay, how many older adults are in that country that you select, people over the age of 65, and compare them over the top, the ratio, to the working age population. Alrighty? And is that changing? And then what does that mean as a society? Okay, you have more retirees, fewer working age. Somebody's got to pay for their pensions, okay? Somebody's got to pay for their care, either as an individual or whatever. So that's the kind of dynamics that you're going to talk about, okay? Alrighty, we come down here, okay, in your write-up, okay, so tell us about the three countries, why you chose them, categorize them, right, developed or developing, okay. What about each one of these three countries' societies explains the trends you see in the data, okay? You're going to see dips in life expectancy from things like the Korean War, okay, like the Vietnam War, like COVID, okay, like Ebola in Africa. You're going to see this. So explain what's going on, okay? Alrighty. And in your explanation, we want you to look at changes over time. Do at least 50 years, and you'll see that comes up down in the rubric. So you follow the rubric. Did I do this? Did I do that? Okay. There is a slide deck, if that's how you like to roll, that explains everything. I can click on this sucker. All right. And so it tells you step by step about how to approach this. Okay. And then I'm going to go into the data. Okay. You can either be a Mac or a PC. If you're a PC user, this is the easiest way to do screen captures of the figures you generate. So you just do a Windows key, Shift S simultaneously, and then you grab the figure from whatever you're looking at, and then this is the Mac method, right? These are the kind of figures you're going to be looking at right here, okay? So that's it. That's the drill on that, okay, my friends? All right, let's go back over here. All right, so that's the slide deck. This video I'm making right now is going to go in here and replace this video, so I'm not going to go into that, okay? Alrighty, so when it's all said and done, did I do everything right? Well, I just checked the rubric, okay? Pretty straightforward. You know, we are grading a lot of papers. We have a team of really great graders, okay? Including ourselves, and what we do is we say, okay, were there three countries, was one developing, okay? That's 2 points, okay? Did you collect the data? I said there's two categories of data, okay? Life expectancy and the comparison of young, elderly, and working age, okay? All right? So that's 4 right there, okay? Did you explain trends over time, right? That's 6 points right there. Did you explain how the data is different over these time periods with the three countries, okay? And an additional 2 points, did you put in the graphs as indicated, okay? Alrighty, and that's where you're at, okay? So these are what the graphs look like, okay? This is the life expectancy graphs, and this is how you go in and choose your countries. And then this right here is the young, working age, and elderly graphs, okay? Alrighty, so that's how you do that, all right? Young, working age, and elderly, all right? So let's do it. All right, I'll show you just how easy this is, okay? First of all, I'm going to open a Word doc, okay? All right, blank. Awesome. Okay. And now I'm going to go back over here. And what I'm going to do is do part 1. All right. So this takes you to the page that's all about life expectancy that gives you information, or you can go straight to the charts. Okay. Which I'm going to do right here. Awesome. Okay. All right. So, all right. I agree. Right. This is a great website if you ever need to do data analysis, guys. So these are all the different, you get all this information over an extended period of time here for, they have it set up by continents, countries, America. So we don't need all that stuff. So right here, we're just going to get rid of this, 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 and get rid of that. We got nothing now, okay? All right, so what do we want? Okay, we want to search for countries. Here they are right here. I think I went to U.S. Boom, there we are, okay? So here's over a very long, extended period of time, okay? So you can ask yourself, what happened here? What was this dip about right here? Oh, there it is, 1918. You know what? COVID's been compared to that for many years, okay? This was the influenza epidemic, and you see how many people died. It ruined the life expectancy. And then what happened here? All right, you guys were going to high school during all this, most of you. That was the COVID epidemic. And yes, we had a dip in life expectancy, all right? That's part 1, all right? What else are we going to look at, okay? How about South Korea? That's an awesome one. Okay, now South Korea, I compare 2 different worlds here, all right? Why? Okay, why was South Korea sucker punched here, right? what do we know what happened here? Okay, World War II. Boom. Okay. And then the Korean War. Okay. And then it came up. And then why is South Korea racing ahead of us? Okay. And they had this little blip right here. Right? In terms of life expectancy. That's what I want to know. Right? And what else do we have here? So I gotta choose another country here. All right, that is in. Sorry. Here, I'm gonna look if I look up, for example, Afghanistan. Boom. So I typed it in, and there it is. Okay. Now, why isn't there anything here? All right. It was an issue. Okay, in terms of infrastructure and data collection. Then we have right here, boom, boom, boom. We have all the military invasions, whether it was Russia or yes, the Afghan war. Okay. And then we see right here, what? Even they got impacted by COVID. Okay. Awesome. So what I'm going to do here now is that's the three countries that I wanted to look at. Okay. You scroll down, there's more information down here if you wish. Okay. If you want to learn all about this stuff. Okay. But right now I'm honing in on my figures. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. All right. There it is. It popped up. Okay. So I did the window keys, Shift S. Okay. And I put it like that. Now, you also have the option of, changing the scale. And I'll show you that in a second here. Right. And then here I just do a Control V. And there it is. Okay. So I've got my figure. And so now I can, obviously modify this and move it around however I want. You can add your text, and but a lot of people put the figures at the very end. Okay. But you're ready to rock here on your document. Okay. And that's what I'm just trying to show you. All right. That's part one. Okay. We go over here. Like I said, with this thing, you can stretch it out, or I like it better showing the full length. Okay. Awesome. All right, so that's part one. We got that then, and I showed you how I explained it. Now I got to explain part two. Okay, so we're going to look here again at young, working age, and elderly populations, and how the dynamics have changed. Who needs care? Are there any children being born? On and on and on. Okay, right in there, and there it is. Okay, so everybody chose Afghanistan. All right, so since I did that. I have that right here, and it's ready to rock and roll. Okay, I can look over 50 years. This right here is projections. All right, it's not 2040 yet, but this is what the projections are. Okay, and so what we see here, they have a very young nation, a lot of youth. A lot of working age. Okay, not that many elderly people don't live that long. Why not? Okay. They don't have medicine, they don't have hygiene, and they have a lot of internal strife. Okay. But we see the projection here, okay, is for the elderly population to rise, okay, for fertility to begin to go down, okay, and then the accumulation of working age population as more kids are had. Okay. All right. So that's the projection. So I'm going to go Windows key Shift SS, and I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to grab that. Okay, I'm going to go to my Word doc, okay, and I'm just going to go and I do a Control V because I have a PC. Don't ask me why, but I just do. Okay, so that's one. But remember, there's three countries. Okay, so what did I do before? I'm going to remind myself here. I did South Korea and the U.S. So I got to go back here to my figure, okay? And so I got to find another country, okay? So let's see here. All right, changing. I'm changing, my friend. I'm going to get rid of Afghanistan. I'm going to put in the U.S., and there it is. All right, so now far different looking profile. So you can explain that, okay? You see the dynamics having here. So we see our elderly population is way on the rise, okay? Goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And what do we know about recent dynamics of people having kids? It's too costly. Okay, people don't want to have kids anymore, and so we see this decrease in the fertility rate. Younger going down, down, down. Right? If that's us. And I got it. I got two. All right, and I go back down here to my doc. right? And again, if you had a PC, you would know this. You do Control V, and now it's down here. All right. So now I got two. One more. I was what? South Korea. So I'm going to change. All right. I'm just going to type in. All right. South Korea. Bang. All right. There it is. Now, far different situation with South Korea. All right. In terms of millions of people here, they're in crisis mode. You know, how are they going to keep their economy going? That's a good question. Based on these projections, you already see the decline in the working age. You see the big rise here in elderly. And what else do we see here? Okay, people don't have kids. See the big decline. All right, so explain that, my friends. All right, so there was a lot of birth post-Korean War. You can see that in the 50s, okay? But then things changed, all right? So I just did my screen capture. Let me go back over here and Control V. There I have it, all right? So I can, and you can shift this however you want. You can look here at this dynamics of dependency, okay? In South Korea, okay, we see there's going to be this big decline in working age and a huge rise in elderly. That's a huge burden, huge freaking burden. The burden is shifting from caring for kids to caring for older people, okay? And it's a huge problem in the United States, okay? So we also have a huge rise in elderly, okay? Our working age is not increasing, it's going to stabilize, okay? So, all right, that means fewer people to deal with this. Okay, and then we look at the projections, and again, those we looked at here in Afghanistan. That's US. Sorry. There's life expectancy. What did I put? Oh, it's right. Afghanistan's got to be at the bottom. Because I'm not thinking. There it is. Afghanistan. Far different scenario. All right. I would save that document. I would move on. Okay. And just to make sure, okay, I don't need this anymore. There's so much. If you ever need to write papers or do a study or someday you have a job, our world of data is amazing, amazing. Okay, and we see right here. This is the assignment, and then as I'm writing, find my scroll bar. I'm going to be looking around. Did I check all the boxes? All right, and that's it. Don't be late. You're late. It's 10% per day. That's it. You know, if you're having some crazy problem, you contact Julia and you'll let her know, right? Remember, we're going to submit everything we do via Turnitin, right? So you add a file right here. It's going to take you to Turnitin, right? So file, and from my computer, I'm not doing it right now, and on and on and on. Okay? All right, cool. Awesome. All right, so that's it, my friends. If you have any questions, please contact us. All right, take care.